Ladies and gentlemen of the Nightmares Podcast, I would like to welcome y'all here today. Today we have a very, very great show. I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this voice. It sucks. Brendan, how are you doing today?
Doing all right.
All right, cool. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, brother.
All right, cool. Victor, my man, how you doing?
Sweet.
I love it. Okay, so for today's topic, we are going to be debating whether or not, what would you rather be, a vampire or a werewolf? The choice is yours. Brendan, what would you rather be?
Werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, well, first off, despite the fact that I'm sure the transformations are going to be painful as all hell, at least I don't need to be invited into anywhere. Because, like, if you're trying to get into a building and you're not invited in, you're kind of screwed. Hence the nightclub scene and What We Do in the Shadows when they couldn't get in because...
I need to fucking watch this show.
And I was actually in the movie, which I'm not a huge fan of the movie. Mm-hmm. I think the show is phenomenal, but the movie has a lot of interesting, funny bits, and that's one of the funnier bits in the movie, I think. But it is also, you only go places at night, too. Unless you're, like, really careful and all that. And it's like, I just feel like it would be more annoying to be a vampire, whereas being a werewolf... I only just gotta worry about full moons, and I can still live my life. And if we're going by how the werewolves work in Monster Squad, like, let's say somebody does, like, chop me up or kill me or something like that, I'm coming back anyway. My body's rebuilding itself. So, I don't know. I guess part of it also depends on which specific mythology you're going on, or if you're kind of being like me right now, where you're borrowing from multiples. But overall, it's like I feel like I would have... less interference with my own life as a werewolf, and I get to tear people up as a werewolf too. So I got some people I wouldn't mind paying a visit in my werewolf form.
Okay, that's interesting. So, all right, I'm gonna choose vampire because one, if I'm gonna be a powerful bastard, I'd like it to be more than once a fucking month, and two, I'm gonna borrow more from Skyrim's logic here. With the exception of the not burning in the daylight, I think that's stupid. All vampires should burn in the daylight, but that's just me. Unless you're Blade, when you're just fucking awesome. But no.
Well, he's only half vampire.
He's fucking awesome, though. Half vampire, full cool. Anyways.
It also appears on Skype in What We Do in the Shadows.
I gotta see that episode. But anyways, the reason why I'm choosing vampires is because, one, I already drink blood regularly anyway, so that's just kind of a normal thing for me. But besides the point, I mean... You're right there, Mark?
He's not joking either, and that's kind of the worst part of this.
Dude, oh my.
Look, where I get my supply is none of your damn concern, all right? We're just going to leave it at that. Mark, what are you going to say, buddy?
All actions of Zach are not condoned by Midwest Horror Network in any way. That is our little tidbit.
Okay, anyway, so continuing on.
Also keep in mind, I'm his roommate.
I don't drink his blood. His blood is tainted. So, that's besides the point.
With what, though?
You got the AIDS.
So,
Jenny, why don't you love my...
oh, Jesus Christ. Stay on topic, Mark, goddammit.
I just love breaking Brandon. It's fun. It's
Yeah, we've done that a lot in the past 10 minutes.
I know.
Breaking Brandon, starring Bryan Cranston.
You fucking wish.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, I would rather be a vampire because, one, my power is, well, eternal. I don't have to wait for one period of the month. I could just do it whenever. And,
Mark gave me a little look there.
I'm sure he did. I'm not going to be able to get through my fucking statement today because of this fucking tomato-looking asshole over here. Yo, put the camera on you. I want the audience to see how much of a tomato you look like right now.
Dude, it's just the problem is with Zach and I, when we look at each other, every fucking joke that we've ever told to each other comes flooding fucking back. God. So it's very hard to
I'm not even looking at you, asshole! I'm looking at the camera. I'm trying to talk to the goddamn audience, but you're over here giggling like a fucking schoolgirl.
All right, Mr. Vampire. Talk about why you want to be a fucking vampire.
Okay, one, because I'm fucking awesome all year round or all life round. Two, I get to drink more blood than I can ever fucking dream of. Three, if we're going off Skyrim logic, especially Dawnguard stuff, Fuck the werewolf. You get to turn into a giant bat demon and just rip everyone a fucking part. And then if you also get the cool-ass arrows, the sun's no longer a problem. You just shoot that bitch into the sky turns red, and you could just raid hell on literally everyone and everything because you are so fucking awesome. What are they gonna do? Nuke me? Bring it on, bitches. I'm
Has
ready.
anybody ever nuked a vampire?
No. But I think we should.
Yo, can we get some vampires imported into Fallout 4? I'm gonna shoot them with a mini nuke and see what happens.
So I feel like your logic on that last part, it has no data to back it up. Is there data to back this up?
Does anybody have
Let
any
us know in the comments.
Please.
I legitimately want to know
anybody
if there
ever
are nuclear vampires out there somewhere.
I feel like it exists, but
it has to.
Like nuclear vampire. All right, this just wow, we went into a tangent. All right, nuclear vampires. Let us know if you've seen them. Let us know if you want to write them. Comment below. Let us know.
Hold on, write them?
Right.
Oh,
you said
okay,
right.
they said
right.
Yeah,
them.
I said
Oh,
right, you idiot.
Right.
I mean, I guess, but I
They're
don't know.
nuclear powered, so they can fly for infinity. So.
They are a renewable resource of ultimate power in the universe.
Yeah, they have nuclear energy, so they're just limitless. Fuck blood. We drink radioactive fusion or whatever. I don't know. Mark, what would you rather be?
Honestly, man, it depends on the lore of what we're talking about, but
We're
Okay.
kind of borrowing from whatever the hell we want to
whatever the
right
hell.
now.
All right, Mark, you are limited to sparkly disco ball vampires and what's the weakest werewolf we could think of?
Also Twilight.
Yeah, that.
I'd rather be dead.
It's the same movie, Zach.
It really sucks.
Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, besides that point, if I had to pick and choose, is vampire. And the reason being is because I understand Brendan's logic behind this, because you can live a normal life until you have a full moon. The problem is you literally have, in my eyes, it's always been no control over the situation. Now, if I was a shapeshifter werewolf like they did in Harry Potter, where they had one of them that can control it and the other one that can't control it.
When the hell could they control it?
Because he was technically the more traditional shapeshifter rather than a werewolf. They had some name for him in the Harry Potter thing.
Is it not called a lichen?
What's up?
What are lichens then?
I think that lichens are the ones in the Harry Potter universe that can control it versus a traditional werewolf that cannot
Now,
control it.
see, that doesn't bother me as much.
Okay, that to me is one of those things that I don't like the inability to destroy. They're both curses for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I'm going to choose the lesser, if I was going to choose anything, I'd be a fucking hunter, like in Supernatural or Van Helsing.
Yeah, of course you would.
But that being said, I would definitely pick vampire. For a lot of obvious reasons, and if we're going by blade logic, I would only be a half blood and not a pure blood, so I can kind of get away with a little bit of sunlight here and there. If all I need
Mark,
is a
we're
fucking
going
visor.
full or nothing. You don't get to be the daywalker, all right?
All right, fine. But yeah, vampire definitely. Eternal life, always stay the same age. If I'm going by interview with the vampire logic,
Most vampires already do that anyway.
pretty much. So, and then also, yes, this is a curse that you need to drink
Yeah,
blood
that
for sure.
eternal life thing does nothing for me either.
I get that. The and then also too, vampires don't have the issues that they have with fucking silver that werewolves do. So vampires.
There's a lot of silver in the
Vampires
world.
need a head chop. And
Yeah,
All we got to avoid is crosses and holy shit. I do that already.
And not even that, because Blade disproved the whole cross things. He's like, that's bullshit. That does nothing.
If you want to go by, I think it's Taste the Blood of Dracula, which was one of the Hammer sequels to Dracula, which is actually really interesting. Because also the Fright Night remake touches on this very briefly as well. But with the whole crosses thing, that only works as protection for you if you have faith.
Ooh.
So if you believe in God, the cross works for you. And so that's what's interesting about Taste the Blood of Dracula, is that the protagonist in that one is an atheist, so therefore the crosses do not serve protection for him at all, so he has to be a little more creative with taking down Dracula.
Ironically enough, that is also the logic and lore from Dusk Till Dawn, because he was a man of faith that was able to create holy water and other crosses. And that was George Clooney's thing. Like, you can take normal things and turn them into a fucking weapon against these vampires. definitely. The only thing is, though, like, I can tell you right off the bat, like, I take this pick with a caveat, is I would never want to be the vampires from, I can only think of one example, but like 30 Days of Night, I would not want to be that. Because that's essentially a fucking zombie at that point. Like, all you're doing is just running and consuming, and that's all you do. There's nothing...
I mean, they're not brain dead, though.
No.
They are smart.
They're very, very smart, but that being said, it's not the Blade vampire.
You would not want to be the vampires from the Strain, either.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are literal demons, essentially.
And they're also a hive mind as well.
That's
correct.
I need to watch that.
It's a really good show.
Oh, so I've heard.
But those type of ones that have like only a one-track mind of being just predators all the time, like that would be no different than me being a fucking werewolf. I would have and at least if I had to, if I was those. If my choice was the Strain vampires and the 30 Days of Night vampires, I would choose a fucking werewolf in a heartbeat. Because at least with werewolves, I only have to deal with one day a night, versus all the time being a fucking predator and running after everybody and trying to consume as much as I could. But if I'm introducing like Blade and like other vampire lore, vampire
Blade
all the
doesn't
way.
count. He's half.
But the Blade universe, the like Frost and and all the other vampires that are in there.
I like Blade too.
Do you like Blade 2, buddy?
wait. Is that I like Blade 2 TOO or I like Blade 2 as in Blade 2, the Guillermo del Toro movie?
Read the captions and you will find out.
We need context to get captions, goddammit!
The answer is yes
Somebody
for
give me
me.
a steak and a mallet.
They Jesus Christ. The answer is yes for me. I love both of them actually. They're both awesome movies.
What about Blade Trinity?
Can't really speak for that third one though.
I don't know. That dog vampire was kind of cool.
This is probably one of the most unusual things I have in my collection, but I actually have a little 35mm film reel for the trailer of Blade Trinity.
Why?
My brother used to work at a movie theater, and he brought it home one day and gave it to me.
Alright, that's
I
reasonable.
wish I could do cool shit like that.
I suppose.
I
that's
mean, Blade
reasonable.
Trinity isn't that bad. It's an alright movie.
It's just another fucking audition for Ryan Reynolds to get
It's
Deadpool.
strangely indirectly responsible for us eventually getting the Deadpool movie.
He's not wrong.
Pretty much.
Victor, what would you rather be, a werewolf or a vampire?
A werewolf would be cool, just to be super buff and things of that nature, to be able to do some really cool abilities. But
You want them werewolf gains, yo?
yeah. But I would say being a vampire has a lot more of its benefits and things of that nature.
You can't have garlic anymore, yo.
What?
You can't have garlic anymore.
Depends on the
I hardly eat garlic. That's
that might be a little bit more of a problem for me.
Yeah, I know the Italian over here. I can't put garlic on my pastrami.
Yeah, if we're going the garlic
I don't know.
argument, Mark, you're going to have to take werewolf on that basis.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
They'll figure it out.
Dude, my uncle could be deathly allergic to fucking shellfish and still cram it down his throat because he loves it so much. They can figure it out. My Uncle Miko, we were at a fucking restaurant one time and he was eating shellfish and everything else. He's like, if my throat closes up, call 911.
Miko, what the fuck are you doing?
We're like, just stop eating. He's like, I can't. It's so delicious.
God, I hope I never become allergic to fish. I love it too much.
But I will say, if we are drawing vampire, lore, things from that nature, if are any of you into anime? Have you ever heard of Hellsing?
Yes.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay, so, Victor, I've only seen Hellsing abridged. I've never watched the actual show. So I do have some kind of understanding, but not to the full extent.
And Brandon is broken.
I doubt you've seen either or. What?
Move on.
I will stab you.
So
You threatened me with stabbing so much, it's lost all meaning.
But here's the thing, I will actually stab you.
Victor, go on. It's your turn.
Yay!
Yay!
So
It's time for victory!
Oh my god.
So vampires in that specific Helsing universe, they can transform into any beast creature, even in a demonic blob in a sense, because the whole idea of, I guess it's drawing back to the original Dracula vampire form, where Dracula himself can turn into mists, bats, and other types of like alternate entities, things of that nature. And so I think that's pretty much a pretty cool way. And not only that, I think vampires are a lot more sexier than werewolves. I mean, how many sexy werewolves are there compared to vampires? With vampires, you're always getting invited to like the hottest clubs, so why not?
He's got a point there.
And then also too, when you're a werewolf, they say, "I'm sorry, sir, no dogs allowed."
Well, also, how many more werewolf stories movies are there than werewolf movies?
Say that sentence again.
I'm sorry, I said werewolf twice, didn't I?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
How many more vampire movies are there than werewolf movies? A lot.
There's a
like,
lot. Well,
we-
I mean, I know that Dracula is the most used in pop culture. So the
Yeah.
most retold story ever. Like, Dracula, just Dracula, not vampires, but just Dracula as a whole is the most reused story in all of pop culture.
And it's strange too, because I do think there's a lot that could be done with werewolves that people just aren't doing. Like, I think I mentioned before, I want to do a werewolf movie where we don't just show the transformation into a werewolf, but also transformation back into human. Because I'd imagine, because like, whenever they showed like in the Benicio del Toro Wolfman, he shakes off the fur and he's human again. I'm just like, well, that's kind of lame.
Lazy.
Is it really all he does? He just goes.
Pretty much.
Well, shit.
Or as elaborate of a transformation as there is becoming the Wolfman, becoming human again is like, meh.
One D transformation that I like, and I actually do like the transformation in this movie, is the Van Helsing movie with what the fuck's his name?
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman, yeah. Because it's like he's tearing off the skin and transforming into a wolf. So I always thought that was fucking cool. And then as he's transforming back into human, you could just see him kind of melding back into it. And it does look painful. So I think that is like one of the few good examples of a transformation and de-transformation. Now, if the Howling did a de-transformation, I imagine that would take another half hour of the movie, because
That
the transformation
was still awesome.
it was cool, but it's like, are we done yet? Yo, girl, you know you could have ran out the room, right? Like, this transformation is still going on, and it's going on like 10 minutes now. You're still standing there. All right, yeah, cool.
And I've gotten to my theory before about how time works in movies. And all that, so.
Go check out our podcast on The Howling, where fuck if we know it's a good goddamn movie.
Yeah, we also watched that movie and we were all dead ass tired, and then we recorded that podcast and we were even more dead ass tired.
I don't know. I think we were all in. I
remember that day. We were out of it to begin with.
Didn't we just come back from production?
We came back from something.
I don't know what the
remember
hell
it was
we were
one of
doing.
those podcasts where we were behind on the week, and we were just like, let's just pick a movie to talk about today. Like, it was one of those weeks where it was like we just weren't prepared to do anything.
It happens. It happens sometimes. I mean, that's the reason why my fucking interview happened about me and my acting career. So we couldn't come up with anything better at the time. By the way, I did want to say though, like, I don't want to. I know this is kind of obvious to be said, but I don't want to discount it that just because I want to become a vampire more than I want to become a werewolf, don't make a thing like I don't think fucking werewolves are cool as shit.
Oh, no, absolutely.
They're fucking awesome creatures,
Yeah.
and like we're competing against
And we are picking and choosing what lore we want today and everything, because like,
Yeah. There's a
lot.
okay, you brought it up too. It's like, okay, if you become a vampire, well, are you a vampire who's free to do his own thing, or are you one of these subservient vampires who has to serve who turned you?
It's a good point.
I didn't even cover that. I was just being controlled by your thirst to the point where you're a fucking zombie.
And then there are werewolves. There are werewolves who have no control over what they do. There are werewolves that do retain some kind of control. So
Like-
we're not. So it's like I don't know. It's like we'd almost have to like pick like most famous werewolves and most famous vampires and make a tournament of which one would.
I would say Skyrim does a good job at making both look fun, because in Skyrim, like, you have the, vampires that could transform into like the cool bat demons and everything like that. But then you also could transform into a werewolf if you want. But you can only do it once a day, though. That's the thing. So that's a once a day type deal. But still, as long as you're eating hearts and stuff like that and constantly killing shit, you could be a werewolf for as long as you want, as long as you got the heart supply going on.
Yeah, dude, and I actually have a deep respect for how Skyrim handles it. The Skyrim is like, it reminds you of like, yeah, it's a lot of cool shit, but it also reminds you that it is a curse. Oh. And like, he's like, you're getting low on blood, you need to go and get some right now. They they actually respect the lore in that art of of saying, hey, it's a curse. And, yeah, there's benefits to it, but there's a lot of bad things associated with it too at the same time. So I always respected how they handled that source material as you as a player being like, hey, like, you don't, it's sunlight, you can't go outside right now. They you're low on fucking plasma, you gotta go eat somebody. They really handle it well even in your playing stats.
That's the one thing that did annoy me about Skyrim, though, with vampirism. Like, in Oblivion and shit like that, like, you burned if you were out in the sun. Now, depending on how high your level of vampirism was, you either burn super quick or super slow. But in this one, all they did was just, you can't regain stamina unless you're in a dark spot, which I'm just like, I know Twilight just came out, but did you really have to do that? Come on, guys. Thankfully, we have mods to fix that, though. Yeah!
I want to show you guys Near Dark, and there's that scene when, after he was turned, and he was just walking in the desert, just trying to keep himself from burning by having his jacket over him and everything.
Yeah. Cool scene.
Yeah.
Dude, great movie.
Yeah,
great fucking movie.
Absolutely.
Also, Mark, a vampire movie for you, Innocent Blood.
Innocent Blood.
Directed by John Landis, made like 1991, 92. Basically, there's this female vampire who is always like disposes of her bodies or of the victims and everything because she doesn't want to turn anybody by accident, and she only goes after criminals. And so then one night she goes after a mob boss, but the mob boss shoots her while she's in like mid snacking of him, and so she doesn't get to really finish him off like she does with other people. So then he ends up turning. So you have this mob boss who turns into a vampire and starts turning his crew as well, and it's awesome.
Look at that fucking face.
That sounds fucking fantastic.
It's a really good movie. It's a fun time.
Dude, but
Directed by John Landis, who also did American Werewolf in London.
So he knows how to handle fucking creatures, which is a good thing. I'm good. Final thoughts?
Squirrels.
There are advantages and disadvantages to both. I still stand by Werewolf for various reasons. I just think werewolves are cool and are underrated, especially today, because like vampire movies are a dime a dozen.
Matt would be very inclined to agree with you.
Yeah.
He loves werewolves.
Oh, nice.
Take us out.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode of the Nightmares Podcast, be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe.
You can also find us on all of our social media at Midwest Horror Network on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and
Slasher.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time on the Nightmares Podcast. Bye, guys.